Surrender, No Retreat with Anthony Jones. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, I just wanted to let y'all know that growing pains aren't just physical, it's mental too. And you'll go through a lot of growth in your life, and it's not going to feel very good. Like I was saying in the last episode about people leaving on the way to your journey. Once you start to finally realize, oh, I want to do better with my life. People are gonna not be used to this new direction you're taking, so you're gonna be met with some, I don't want to say aggression, but yeah, not a lot of people, not a lot of people are gonna like that at all. Like not a lot of people are gonna like that at all. So you're gonna end up losing friends and family and people that you thought were cool with you aren't gonna be so cool anymore. Like my own family, for example. This is gonna sound like one of them Reddit stories, but we gonna dive into it. Once you start, like you get older and you decide to go through mental health and all that jazz, you start learning about trauma and depression and all these other things, and it being the root problem, it being caused by how you were brought up in your childhood. And you learn these things through the process, and in that process you begin to change, and everybody else will start noticing that change too, because you'll learn how to do things like hold people accountable. And a lot of the time, especially with parents, they're used to you being a child. That's how they see you, as a child. So now, I mean, in their eyes, they can't do no wrong in the presence of a child. It don't matter what they do. But I just started to demand respect from my mother, and she didn't really like that too much. You know what I'm saying? She, oh, you never supposed to disrespect your mom, but you know what I'm saying? And they are, self-respect equals disrespect, and I don't see why they don't get the concept of if you want respect, you gotta give respect too. I think it's lopsided. I think it's lopsided. Hold on, y'all. Let me send this text real quick. Of course. All right. I think it's lopsided how that dynamic works as far as parents go, but they'll be the first to. I mean, if you have parents that are quite toxic, they'll be the first to go off the list. I mean, and it's to the point to where like they don't contact me anymore. I mean, because they know if they do something I don't like, I'm going to say something about it. If I don't appreciate it, like I have enough self-respect for myself now to be able to speak up when I once wasn't before. And it's so funny because my dad had told me when I was in my younger 20s that I was afraid of conflict. Now here I am, like I have no problem, what I'm saying, expressing myself and what's wrong, and letting somebody know when they cross the boundary. But when you start doing that, all of a sudden everybody's got a problem with it. And y'all are probably going to experience that. And y'all, like, I still have like some ways to go with that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously in the friends department, because obviously, they're your friends, but it don't matter who it is. Familiarity breeds entitlement. And if somebody feel like they can get over on you, they can. But as part of my new life regimen, I'm going to start, strictly business. If it's got something, don't mix. That's another thing that's going to be a part of your journey, is you're going to have to learn how to not mix business with pleasure. You know what I'm saying? If something is due, something is due. Just like anybody else that they pay, they gotta pay you too. Like, you know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be any excuse as to why that you can't. Why am I being treated any differently than anybody else? And you're just gonna realize certain things like that. And it's gonna hurt. Like, because once you start doing that, holding people accountable, they're gonna start acting weird. And especially your family members, like my sister, for example. We ain't gonna name drop nobody, but for the longest time, I had her on my phone plan. I swear to God, worst mistake in my life. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes she wouldn't have it, and I would just pay it for her, and I just be like, hey, you got to make sure you had the money. It's always an excuse. Oh, I haven't got paid yet. Blase, blase. Or sometimes I would text, and I wouldn't get no text back, and then it'd be days later. And then one day she just had the audacity to buck on me about something that's her responsibility. And you know, I at this point in my life, I decided to make a grown man decision and be like, hey, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, like I'm gonna have to suspend that line. And doing stuff like that'll make you the bad guy. And here I am, like me and her don't talk no more, and I'm cool with that. Like I said, family, it being your family make it hurt the worst. But like, if you don't do these things, like people will constantly continue to walk over you and things of that nature, and you don't necessarily want that. So you gotta definitely be careful, like in that aspect, like who you let in your on your business side of things, because what I'm starting to realize is friends and family are very terrible options and picks for that type of thing. I don't know what type of sense of entitlement they get from using you, but they do. I mean, just because they feel like you blood or y'all very close or whatever the case may be, and that's one of the very first things you're gonna learn is you got to have self-respect. And once you get that, I promise you, your whole world is gonna be different. The group of friends and people you hung around or you once had, they're all gonna, most of them are going to go away. Most of them are going to go away, and that's gonna hurt, like you mentally. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of this topic that we're talking about today, is that uh, growing pains aren't just physical; they're mental too. Because imagine like you going through life, the majority of your life with this one family and image that you had in your head, only to realize that that's not the truth. Man, when I say that shit hurts so bad, it fucking hurts. And I just wanted to go in here and express that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody tells you. You know, they'll tell you there's snakes in the grass, but nobody ever tells you that the snakes that are in the grass are related to you. You know what I'm saying? That they'll be the only the ones that do you dirt. I mean, I remember reading that in the 48 Laws of Power. It said, "Don't be too reliant on friends. Learn how to use your enemies." I mean, because your friends will do you dirty. Your friends and family will do you dirty before um, a stranger would, which is crazy enough to think, but like that's a concept, a part of your growth that you have to wrap your head around, and that very idea hurts. That very idea of damn, one of my friends and family may betray me, it hurts. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like anything in the entertainment business, right? Like, check me out. Most of your supporters are going to be people that you do not know. At all times, there's going to be people that you do not know. Think about like your favorite artist or something, and somebody's quick to shout, like one of your friends or something's quick to shout them out, but it's something you're doing and they don't bat an eye at it and trying to promote it for you, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just stuff like that you're gonna have to realize, like, a part of your growth as a human being. I mean, because everybody believes in social proof. I mean, I guess I don't know. I can't blame them for that. People are not gonna be with you at the start of the race, but they'll damn sure be there at the finish. And it's one of the moments like that when you realize the love that you're receiving towards the end, when like you've made it to where you want to be and you're continuing to grow, that you realize the people that weren't there in the beginning, they're here now, that the love is fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, damn, I hear you, but I know you only here because of my success, like the bandwagon and shit like that. And that shit's hard to think about, and it's another hard concept to grasp when you're on your way to being great. Anytime you decide that you want to change your life, I don't care if it's for entertainment purposes, YouTube purposes, fighting purposes, like if you're doing boxing, MMA, kickboxing, you know what I'm saying? Like all the concepts, and like, or you just starting a business, or you just want to change your life in general. I promise you, once you start that journey, once you start it, all the way, like when you start at level 1 of a video game, and then like the farther along you go, it gets more difficult. It's the same thing, man. I promise you, I kid you not. The one of the hardest things you're gonna ever have to do is actually start it. Start the process of changing your life. I promise you, because like 9 times out of 10, if you like me, you're not gonna have no mentor in this shit. I mean, therapy is an option, but like in the space that I'm in, and for entertainment or whatever, there's no mentor. There's nobody to help me do this. I'm doing it all on my own strength, all on my own muscle. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's nobody there or around to help you get started. And that's gonna be the hardest thing, because you're like, how do I do this? And no matter what it is, like even if it, like I said, it's just changing your life in general. You're like, how do I do this? Where do I start? And the first part of that is just starting. You know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere. You're not gonna be perfect, but once you get better at it, the difficulty of the game increases. What I mean by that is you're gonna run into trials and tribulations. It's gonna be like a test to test you to see if you got what it takes to keep going where you going. Because I promise you, just because you made it to the top does not mean it gets easier or that you're done. This is only the tip of the iceberg. And the first thing that's going to happen is something might go wrong with the project that you're doing, or something might go wrong in your life to try to revert you back to who you once was, or revert you back to square one, or square nothing, because you might quit, you know. But you just got to keep going. And once you decide that you're going to keep going, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to run into, you're going to become more serious into what it is that you're doing, that you done invested time into it. Like, that's just like a relationship. When you invest time into something, it becomes more serious, and you take it more serious. So now that you're realizing that, you may realize that the people around you aren't taking it as serious as you are. Or taking your project as serious as you are, or your boundaries as serious as you are. Once you start actually working on it and you done put enough time into it, and you're like, damn, like I'm realizing these motherfuckers don't really care about it as much as I do. So now I got to lay down the law. And that's the next step in your process. Once you apply that shit, I promise you, they're like, people are going to not like you for it. I don't know what this phenomenon is, but actually, you know what? I know the answer to it. It's because you're not acting like who you used to be. When you stop acting like who you used to be, all of a sudden you got a stiddy attitude, you're bougie. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a problem with you because you're not accepting the same bullshit that you once did before. And they're gonna make it seem like you're the problem. That is another obstacle in your way to get you to stop. Please do not stop. Keep going. Because when one door closes, another one opens. Or when 5 doors closes, 5 more open. Greater opportunity. People are like seasons. You know what I'm saying? Winter, spring, summer, fall. They here for a little bit, and then they might be gone because they served their purpose. They was there to teach you a lesson. They was there to teach you some form of lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear this all the time. It was either going to be a lesson or a blessing. But every person in your life going to teach you something. I don't care if they don't really know that much. They're going to teach you something. Everybody has something to teach you. And in this process of life, you're going to learn a lot. especially if you keep going. If you like to persevere, if you're the type to persevere, I'm gonna tell you along this journey, like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard, man. You're gonna realize some bullshit that been going on in your life. Like you're gonna the masks are gonna start to slip off on people. And that's the shit that hurts the worst because it's gonna be like the world around you start dematerializing, and you're like, damn, the very concept of life that what I once thought it was is not that. And that's the shit that hurts the most. Mentally, when you're mentally growing, that shit hurts. That shit hurts just as bad as physical pain to me. That shit hurts because it's just like you're gonna have to get used to your new environment, you know? And as a human being, as I can't even talk. Us all as human beings, we're not used to change at all. We're not used to change whatsoever. So when something new comes along, and you're gonna have to get used to it, you know what I'm saying? Like it becomes hard to do by yourself, and that's okay. Long as you got along the way, you may meet somebody that is a good support system for you. Like for me, it's my wife. You know, for those of y'all that don't know, I am married, and my wife is done an excellent job at, you know, keeping me up mentally and things of that nature. It's good to have like a good support system because at the end of the day, you still are a human being, but it's just gonna be the hard part is gonna be finding those right people to keep you up when you feel down. Because I mean, like just like the sun outside, the sun ain't always out. Sometimes the clouds gonna be out too. I know mentally, with me going through depression and anxiety and all of these things, like I tend to have and ADHD on top of that, I tend to have these darker thoughts that ruminate in my head a lot of the times. And I ain't gonna lie, I know this is a lot for her to deal with sometimes, but she's the one that pulls me out of that shit and reminds me, you know what I'm saying, of who the fuck I am and I need to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that's not sometimes, like that is good to have. Like that's how you know you got a good partner. You know what I'm saying? If they with you thick and thin, and she just believes in me. You know that, so that helps. That's like the ice pack for the aching and growing pains. Ice packs do help. You know, with inflammation, the swelling. You know, because if you don't have something to stop the swelling, it'll affect, you know, every other aspect of your life. It'll bleed over. You know, life is hard. There's no manual, no rule book or nothing to that. But one thing I do know is, like my dad once told me, life's a game. You got to know how to play it. And right now, I'm still in the process of learning. But I'm at the part where I know good enough where I feel like I'm on the cusp of greatness. A lot of things have happened to me in the past year, hell, 2 years, and I just feel like I'm doing something right. You know when at a video game when I'll compare a lot of shit to video games on this podcast. I'm a gamer, so y'all gonna hear me rant about games, but check me out. You know you going the right way, like if you've been somewhere before on a video game like Elden Ring or one of those other games where they populate enemies, render enemies into the game, like you know you've been somewhere before if like there's no enemy there because you already been there. You don't want to be in the same place. You want to go where there's growth action at, and you get growth and action from the enemies in the game because you get XP from the enemies or XP from fighting the boss or a new challenge. That's where you want to be heading. So you're trying to find the new part of the map. You need to constantly You need to constantly be trying to find the new part of the map, the new part of the game, to get your new experience and experience points, so you can grow and apply those attributes to yourself. And you might fall down a couple of times along the way. You know what I'm saying? Just dust yourself off because Like I said in the episode before, ain't none of this shit easy, man. Like, you just gotta dust yourself off because the difference between us and the people that are at the top, they've probably failed more times than we have. It sounds crazy, but I learned that concept in jujitsu. I was in jujitsu. I was literally in jujitsu, and I was getting destroyed in there, getting put in guillotines, kimuras, Americanas, triangles. I was getting the shit triangled out of me. You know what I'm saying? But the guy sat me down. I believe it was like a brown belt at the time. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana at the time training. And he was like, you know what the difference between me and you is? I said, what? He said, I just lost way more than you. And I had never really thought about it like that. I mean, because think about it. Even when you fighting, for my fighters out there, you don't really learn much when you win. But you learn a whole lot when you lose because you'll overanalyze that shit and figure out how to not get in that same point of your life or your match again. You learn way more. I mean, because if you don't, what will happen? You're going to repeat the cycle. And you're going to go through that same thing. You're going to run into that same problem over and over again until you finally jump over that hurdle or do what needs to be done to get out of that particular situation. And you can't be scared. A lot of people are really scared of change. That be the main problem. You can't be scared of it. If being great, if you listen to me right now on this podcast, you in your car, you at work, or you folding laundry or doing whatever it is that you're doing while you're listening to this podcast, listen to me right quick. If you are wanting to change, it's gonna hurt. It's supposed to hurt. It's just like lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? That little pain you get from the aches you get from the lactic acid buildup and the tearing in the muscle, that's how you know you're growing. That's the same thing. And that also applies to that last logic that I said, what the coach said about him losing more than I have. You know what I'm saying? You're going to fall down a little bit. But if you want to get to where you're going, you're going to have to endure that. And I promise you, if you endure all that shit, at the very end of the tunnel, you will see the light. And we can go through that process and that journey together because I'm right here with you. I ain't made it yet. But together we gonna take this journey. This is only episode 2. You know what I'm saying? This is my first time doing a podcast by myself. And there's growing pains in this because I did have a co-host before. But he expressed that, he didn't have the same passion for it anymore that he once had. And I ain't gonna lie, when he said that shit hurt. Cause I'm like, damn, like the last podcast that we had was built for the both of us. And I'm like, I cannot continue under that name because it hurts so bad. But like, you know what I'm saying? That's another thing about life. Not everybody is going to be your enemy, but sometimes just you and that person just got different paths to go down. And he can't follow you where you going. And vice versa. You can't follow him where he going. So you got to just find your own, or she, or however it may apply in your situation that you can apply to your life. But not everybody going to be with you where you're going. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that hurts. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm sitting here being a man about it. It did hurt me. And I was trying to figure out where I could go, what I was gonna do. Cause I'm like, damn, like I told him, like, I don't want to be an average person. And I felt like this was it. This was the ticket out of the door. But hey, he has what he has going on. And I just had to find a way to keep going. So I immediately made this. And I jumped right back on the horse because, like I told y'all in the first episode, like this podcast and shit is like therapy to me. This is like therapy. It's perfect. I'm able to get a lot of shit off my chest that I really couldn't have before. And so I decided to keep going with it. I know there's somebody out there that will find will find what I'm saying interesting or helpful for them. And that's my biggest dream is to help somebody through my words, you know, through my words and actions. And I know I know a lot of the times like people just need somebody that feels like they need to hear somebody is also going through the same thing because it'll help them get through it. It's just like music when you hear a certain type of song and what they're talking about in the song, you're like, damn, they're really feeling me right now. Like I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel understood because he's going through exactly what I'm going through. And that's what I'm trying to provide for y'all. That's exactly what I'm trying to provide for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a human as well. I'm not perfect, but goddamn it, I'm going to try my best to get there. You know? But yeah, man, this is only the beginning. And for those of y'all that don't know, while we're on this ranting train, I just wanted to let y'all know that I will be at an amazing con in Savannah, Georgia. For those that want to show up, you know, just yell out my name, yo 50, yo Anthony. I'm a turnaround. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to meet me up there or whatever the case may be, we gonna rock out. You know, I'm gonna try to do an episode up there. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but we definitely gonna try and do an episode. Cause I feel like that'll be a cool environment to be at to network. I definitely want to network. Networking is the ultimate goal to expand the reach of this podcast. Speaking of, if you were listening, if you got to this part of the video, drop a 9 in the comments section, and then let me know. Let me know if some of this spoke to you. Let me know if what I'm saying is helpful, and also give me some new topics that y'all would love to hear me talk about in the comment section, man. Let's run this shit up, and it just helps with the algorithm and pushing this stuff out. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Bean Pod, any one of them services, share it to as many people as you can, man. Like, we gonna get to where we going. Hopefully, like, I want to just bring home lots of awards. You know what I'm saying? From just the sound of my voice just sounds like perfect to me. And you know, a lot of things are gonna change. You know, like even this room that I'm in, it's only the beginning. I plan to have a mural back there, make it more lively. I want like Atlanta Braves shit back here. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to have some Atlanta Braves shit back here with the no surrender, the new no surrender, no retreat logo. By the way, I love that shit. Like I ain't gonna lie, like when it was made, I was like, yeah. That's the one right there, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's me when I was doing MMA and stuff like that. And I plan to have probably like somewhere in the center of this wall, and then the rest of it gonna be like Atlanta Braves stuff, maybe like the stadium in the background or some shit like that. But, oh, shit. My bad, y'all. I had to stretch, but hell yeah, like, y'all are all growing with me together. I hope that we take this journey. We taking this journey together, and just know that I'm right with y'all. Cause like as y'all can see, I'm starting from something right now. I got, you know, my MacBook, my little small table, my interface, and this is just the beginning. You know, it'll probably be a minute before I have my first guest on, but hey, you gotta crawl before you can walk. And hell yeah, like I definitely gonna enjoy the process of doing this. Like I said, like each episode gonna get better. This is my first time running a podcast by myself. I'm doing this off the strength, off the muscle, off the love of the game. And man, one day we gonna apply for some awards, man. We gonna iHeartRadio best episode or something like that. I don't know. Y'all gotta run that shit up though. Like if I do that, like y'all gotta run that shit up. And I would love to go have a reason to be in a tuxedo and go to some iHeartRadio awards or whatever they do, like little podcast events for stuff like that. I love that shit. But anyway, my time is coming to an end on this episode. So, I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you on any of the podcast apps, just drop a like and a comment and share it if you can. My name is Anthony Jones, aka Lil 50. And this has been No Surrender, No Retreat. We out.